After a restless night, we're still waiting for a replacement for our driver. Meanwhile, a repair platoon has arrived and are working on the vision port for the driver. The glass block is shattered, but there's no spare part for it. Therefore, the port is welded shut. Now the tank can only be driven with an open hatch or by means of the angled mirrors. Should work as well, states Peter. Toward noon, resupply arrives and we receive a replacement driver, a young guy with the name Lothar. He's got a head wrap underneath his field cap, and it becomes evident that his tank had been shot down yesterday. Only he and the radio man had survived this. A hit in the turret had torn apart everyone there. At least, it goes fast in that case. One thinks by himself. A quick flash and over. Despite the experience, Lothar is a funny bird, whom one simply must like. Peter also has to chuckle about him when he's telling some hair-raising tale. We're again combat-ready and continue the march together with 2 more refurbished vehicles. We make good progress since the vanguard has already advanced quite far and has reached their daily goal. We drive past tank wrecks and destroyed anti-tank emplacements. Still burning houses point us the way. Numerous dead Red Army soldiers are lying in the ditches. Here and there, a destroyed plane is also sitting on the ground. We hear airplane engines and artillery impacts, but one can't see anything. The smoke is becoming denser and denser. It's difficult to see past 300 meters distance. We keep to the tracks and follow our combat detachment. Toward noon, wounded on trucks are coming past us. Peter inquires how it was looking, and we receive the answer that 5 kilometers ahead there was a command post where we'd find out more. We rumble on and find the mobile command post tucked away in a small patch of woods. Right away, our 3 vehicles are directed to a sector of the front where we are to provide support with the long 75 megameters cannon. The terrain is becoming ever worse. Lothar has difficulty getting the tank through there, but it works out. We push ourselves into the flank of the unit, while the spearhead, consisting of Panthers, is attempting the breakthrough through the Russian line. The Reds have amassed not only anti-tank guns and bunkers here. KV-2 tanks are also reported. These we hadn't seen in a while, and we were of the impression those simply weren't frontline suitable, and therefore not employed against us any longer. But here on the way to Kursk, they apparently brought up everything. We're moving forward along as flank cover. Again, Peter has stuck his head out of the hatch and is looking for targets through the binoculars. I hope a guardian angel is holding his hand over his noggin, for I don't want to lose him. Then he quickly ducks down and closes the hatch. KV-2 half left is reported. I turn about. After a short time I do actually have the guy in the aiming point. But it's not quite so simple indeed. Even the 75 megameters cannon can't penetrate the turret of the KV-2. Therefore, I try to aim at the hull, which is too deep in the emplacement, however. Peter issues me permission to fire. Now I'm taking on the turret dead center. They're about to get a proper knocking on their ears. I fire and hit the turret, but achieve no penetration. Only now I do have their attention. Their 152 megameters cannon is not as accurate, but we don't want to take any chances. Lothar pulls ahead. We roll 100 meters further on. Fire halt. Again a shell is leaving the barrel. Impact and again no effect. They're still turning their turret, but apparently the Red Army soldiers have their eye on a different target. We roll further, but due to the terrain, we're now unable to fire another shot at the Colossus. Here, the Luftwaffe probably needs to come in. We receive a new attack objective, bunker ahead. These bunkers are well camouflaged, and the installed anti-tank guns frequently are sending deaths into our lines. Several tanks have already been hit, are burning or have their tracks shot off. That's where we need to go. Peter is issuing orders. Then we find a suitable spot where we can expose our turret. High explosive shells are loaded, and I'm to, if possible, shoot right into the bunkers. The main gun is well adjusted. At 600 meters I get on target. Peter is letting me proceed. I take my time. I pull the trigger. The shell does impact the bunker, but only hits the upper edge. The crooks there have caught on to that right away, and I can see how their barrel is slowly turning in our direction. Now or never. I aim just a touch of a millimeter lower and fire again. This time the shell flies into the bunker. A loud bang, followed by a strong explosion, shows me that there's nothing anymore which could return fire. Now the emplacement comes to life. Whatever was sitting next to the bunker is now rolling away. One can see bushes and small trees tipping over. I shout over to Peter that someone is trying to escape over there. We pull ahead, and with 2 accompanying tanks, we move forward in a wedge formation. We're driving in the lead and are unstoppably rolling toward the positions. Infantry and machine gun fire is hitting us, but the anti-tank gun in this sector has been eliminated. To the left of us, another Panzer III is driving, which in turn is fighting down the machine gun positions. All of a sudden, there's a loud bang, and our tank is shaken through and through. Tanked to the left hit, screams Peter. Silent anti-tank gun is going through my head. We can't stop. Keep driving at full speed ahead. Lothar is to steer further to the left, as to present our front to the enemy. Again a shot fired, which is barely passing us by. Enemy tank ahead. I turn to, but our man next to us has already seen it as well, and slams a shell onto the vehicle. I can only recognize the gun barrel, but no turret. Regardless, I take aim lower and fire. Hit. The vehicle is smoking. Red Army soldiers are gushing out of the vehicle and immediately die in the combined fire of our bow machine guns. We roll further up to the first ditch and come to a halt. We crack the line. The Russians are fleeing. The followed-up infantry is cleaning up the ditches. 20 minutes later, the area is more or less cleared of enemies. Now we are able to look after the comrades' tank. Nothing there can be done anymore. Apparently, it was a turret hit. Then the ammo self-ignited. The turret has been blown off, and the tank completely burned out. Big mess. Good men lost again. Then we take a look at the Russian position, and for the first time I see one of the Russian assault guns with the 122 megameters cannon. They simply knock us out with that caliber, but they also have to come in close with that barrel. Oh well, we've got 'em. We examine the vehicle, and I remember its weak spots. The armor is not so strong, but the angling has the advantage of possible deflection of the shell. But here, the shell impacted underneath the mantlet, and apparently that way the main gun was rendered useless, or something inside the vehicle got set on fire. In any case, it had enough of an effect to cause the tank men to bail out. They're all lying 30 meters behind the vehicle, mowed down by our machine guns. Running away there is not an option. I also wouldn't try that here should I ever get into that situation.